Superman is directed by James Gunn, and this is the first film in his brand new DC universe for film and television. And this movie tells the story of Clark Kent as Superman, who has been active on Earth for a couple of years at this point, but when a conspiracy appears to unravel itself, he must team up with Lois Lane and the other heroes of the Earth to team up against Lex Luthor and his evolving plan. Now that's all I'll say on the story. If you haven't seen the movie, I'll leave it to you to go figure out the rest. But in terms of this film, it has been quite a journey to this point. It was a couple of years back when it was announced by Warner Brothers that James Gunn, director of Guardians of the Galaxy and many other films, was going to be taking over the DC universe, and also that he was going to be launching the franchise out the gate with his own Superman film. And while James Gunn wasn't initially, in my opinion, the most incredible fit for Superman in my eyes, I was still interested because I'm a DC fan. I want to be excited about DC again, and James Gunn, being the incredibly strong creative that he is, did give me a lot of faith that this was going to be a good start for this new DCU. Now, a great Superman movie starts with a good central lead performance, and we have that here with David Corenswet as Superman. Now, going into this film, I wasn't overly familiar with David Corenswet. The only movie I've seen him in is last year's Twisters, which he has a very small supporting role there, so I wasn't overly familiar with Corenswet, but in this film, he truly proved that he is here to stay as Superman. He is a great choice for the character. He delivers all of the hope, all of the energy, all of the chemistry, and also all of the kind of regalness that you would want from Superman. You know, he also has that level of heart to him and that level of believability and reality where, yes, he is this incredible alien god who can, do these amazing things, but he's also a Kansas boy who grew up on a farm, and he has that relatability to him. I think David Corenswet nails both elements of the character really well, despite the fact that he certainly leans more into like the Superman side of things in this movie, more so than Clark Kent. I still think the small glimpses we get of Clark in this movie, be it at home with his parents or in the Daily Planet, I think he just delivers all of those parts of Clark Kent's Superman just to a T. We also have Rachel Brosnahan as Lois Lane, and this is, again, pitch perfect casting. I think Rachel Brosnahan, again, was an actress not overly familiar with. I know she was in The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel a few years ago. That's a show I've not seen. But in this movie, proves that she is an amazing choice for this character. She has all of the kind of pop and circumstance you would want from Lois Lane. I think she really shows that she is a strong journalist. The way that she pushes Clark to kind of go beyond the surface level and to talk about his own issues is really well done. She's also great in investigating, and I also think her chemistry with David Corenswet is really palpable. You can feel the kind of tension and but also the kind of simmering love between the two erupting on screen at times, and it's genuinely quite romantic, it's quite sexy at times, and I think that they both play it incredibly well. And of course, I also have to talk about Nicholas Hoult in this movie as Lex Luthor, and I must say, the kind of real life behind the scenes backstory of this casting, where he auditioned for Superman, didn't get it, but then got cast as Lex, there is just a nice little bit of, symmetry behind all that. But in terms of his role as Lex and his performance as the character, fantastic. What I really liked about this version of Lex is that he was allowed to go big, he was allowed to go large. I feel like there's so many versions of Lex in modern media where, they portray him as kind of very smart and calculated, and, he kind of keeps things very, beneath the surface. But I think this version of Lex, he's allowed to go crazy. He's allowed to go very big and animated, and not only does it make his version stand out, but it also makes him a great foil to Corenswet's Superman, who I think does a better job of like keeping a handle on things. So when them two get in a room together and they just rile each other up, it really creates some magic on screen. Now, there are so many characters in this movie I could talk about, whether you're talking about the Daily Planet staff in the film, who, in my opinion, are all really well cast, despite the fact they don't have that much screen time. They are really well characterized on screen. You've also got Lex's like little cabal of villains like Ultraman, and you've also got the Engineer and Eve Tessmacher, who, again, are really well done in the movie. And you've also got the Justice Gang, who are like sort of the proto-Justice League of this universe, and they are also all great characters. Mr. Terrific, in particular, is a real standout of the movie. I think Eddie Gathegi is a fantastic choice for this character, which is one that I've always wanted to see on screen for a very long time. And I also will mention, of course, Nathan Fillion as Guy Gardner, who I just love the fact he's in the movie, purely for the fact it was incredible for me to see just Green Lantern stuff on the big screen again. It's been such a long time since we've seen Green Lantern in any form, especially in the theatrical space, and I think, James Gunn, I thank you just for putting a Green Lantern in this movie. And Nathan Fillion is a great choice for Guy. I can't wait to see more of him in this universe. And it's hard pressed to talk about Superman without talking about Krypto, who is just a delight in the film. And I must say, there's a particular choice made with Krypto that I think really makes him work in the movie, which is that, you know, it's very easy for them just to put Krypto in the movie and be like, oh, he's a dog and he's cute, audiences will like him. Because while, yes, that is true, I actually like the fact that in the film they established that he's not actually a good dog. He's quite badly trained, he's got a lot of bad tendencies, and, you know, he has all these kind of outbursts and stuff like that. And I think it actually makes him have so much more personality than he would do if he was just a normal good dog. Now, James Gunn, I think, did do a wonderful job of directing this film. I think it's really well handled altogether. I think that he is able to construct this world in a really compelling way where it's very much a comic book world where everything is just thrown at you. You've got all these characters, all these powers, you've got all these different things going on, but it still feels attainable. It still feels like for general audiences, they're all going to be able to get accustomed to this world quite quickly. And I think that's quite a testament to James Gunn and how he's able to handle all of these things on screen. The screenplay is a little messy though. Like, that's my main sort of negative with Superman, is that it's quite a messy film. There is a lot in it. You've got Superman and all of his antics going on. You've got Lex and all of his characters. You've got Lois and all the Daily Planet characters. You've got the Justice Gang. You've got Ultraman. You've got the parents scene. You've also got the stuff for like Krypton and Superman's backstory. There is a lot that James Gunn tries to stuff into this one movie. And while I don't think any of it is bad, a lot of it does come off a bit underwritten or undercooked, and it's just because they didn't have enough time. There isn't enough movie for all of these storylines and all of these characters to get all the love and attention that they need. Again, none of it's particularly done badly, but there are multiple elements of the film that definitely could have done with a bit more time in the oven. But again, there was no real time for them to do that because the movie's only about 2 hours and 10 minutes. Also, I will shout out the score in this movie as a bit of a negative, because while I think in general the score is really good, and I think it is impactful in a way, and I've certainly had it in my head for the past few days, I do think that the score is a little over-reliant on the original Superman theme from the 70s, and don't get me wrong, I get it. It's iconic. It's one of the most iconic pieces of music in the history of cinema. Totally get that. But I feel like this movie could have done with its own original Superman theme that would also be able to become as equally as iconic as that original. Hans Zimmer was able to do it with Man of Steel back in 2013. I don't know why they couldn't necessarily have done it here with this new film. I also found the cinematography to be a little bit all over the shop in the film, where at some points throughout I think it looks really attractive and colourful and, again, really applies itself to this sort of comic booky world that James Gunn has created. But then there's other times when the sort of saturation and the white balance is so on one end of the scale that it is almost blinding. Like, it almost makes the colours go from bright to white, and it just comes across as a bit, ooh, you know, when you're watching it on the screen. So the cinematography is good, but it is a little bit weird sometimes. And this isn't really a positive or a negative, I just think it's something to be aware of. Is there are a couple of plot twists in this movie, which obviously I'm not going to talk about what those twists are, but there are going to be some strange reactions to them. I think one of the twists is really predictable, and I think if you've been following the Superman news, if you've been, you know, just thinking and theorizing about this movie since the trailers have come out, I think that one twist is going to be really, really predictable. But then there's another twist in the film that really came out of nowhere, and while I personally quite liked it, and I thought it worked for this version of the character and for this movie, and I thought it was something different, I have already seen online, and there's going to be some Superman fans, some Superman purists out there who are really going to hate that particular storyline. But I guess the question now is this: is Superman a good start for the DCU? I think so. I think this is as good of a start as we could have gotten. I think it's just really, you know, exciting to be a DC fan again, you know, to be excited about the future of DC, where, you know, these other films and these other TV series that we've got coming out on the slate, I was looking forward to them, but now after seeing this movie and kind of seeing the vision and seeing what we're going to be working with, I'm really excited. Especially, you know, we've got Supergirl coming out next year, which I think is going to be a great continuation, you know, sort of from this movie. We've also got Lanterns coming out. We've got even like a Clayface movie coming out, which, I mean, I don't really agree with them doing a Clayface movie this early on, but if the quality remains the same, I'm here for it. Like, I'm willing to give it a go. So I think that the DCU is certainly in good hands here with James Gunn. I think he's delivering, experimentative but also quality products that we can look forward to. I think that's as good as we can ask for as DC fans at this point. But what did you guys think about Superman? Make sure to let me know your thoughts on the movie in the comment section down below. I would love to hear what you thought about the film, and how are you feeling about the DCU now that we've got the first proper entry into it. Whatever you think, let me know in the comments down below. And if you would like to see more movie reviews and movie live streams every Sunday, make sure you subscribe, hit that notification bell so you don't miss any uploads from me. And I hope to see you guys again next time.